Valentine's card just isn't enough to say, I love you. Hello from Victoria and me, and welcome to this evening's programme.
First, the Cambridgeshire hospital starved of doctors from overseas because of changes to visa regulations.
Addenbrooke's Hospital in Cambridge says it's being prevented from employing desperately needed doctors to help deal with shortages on the wards.
But the Home Office says the system is in place to protect the UK labour market. Matthew Hudson has the story.
People from nearly 90 nations work at Addenbrooke's. It's something the hospital is intensely proud of. But now it's concerned that a cap on the number of visas given to well-qualified applicants, known as Tier 2 visas, is preventing it from employing the junior doctors it urgently needs. The definition of folly is to do something which is diametrically opposed to your own best interests. And senior figures here at Addenbrooke's Hospital say the way the system currently prevents well-trained medical staff with good English from overseas from taking up positions which can't otherwise be filled is folly indeed. 3 doctors from India, Pakistan and the Caribbean who'd been offered jobs here recently had applications turned down by the Home Office. That increases the workload on other staff and means money has to be spent employing locums. Fewer British people are currently training in medicine, and with Brexit looming, fewer doctors are currently coming here from the EU.
They're good doctors, they've got the appropriate tests, appropriate qualifications, and they still can't get here. Word is going to spread around their friends, around their circles, around the hospitals where they work, and I'm worried that the international graduates is simply not going to apply to us.
The city's MP says capping the number of well-qualified people who can come here is counterproductive.
They made this rash promise at the last election, the election before that, and this is what it actually means when you have an immigration cap. Unless you've got the expertise in the country at the time, you're actually stopping our health service getting the people we need, and that's completely mad in my view.
In a statement, the Home Office told us it is important that our immigration system works in the national interest, ensuring that employers look first to the UK resident labour market before recruiting from overseas. We estimate that around 1/3 of all Tier 2 places go to the NHS. The visa and associated costs can exceed £1,000, far more if the applicant brings family. Many modestly paid Cambridge University doctorate researchers are on Tier 2 visas. Dr. Gina Halibi is an astronomer from Chile who also works representing their interests. She carried out a survey asking whether the costs were a serious burden.
The message was clear. It's a big financial burden for postdocs, especially for those who are coming straight out of their PhD. It cuts through their savings. It affects them not only financially, but also it affects them socially and as well as their well-being, really.
Both the university and the hospital pride themselves on attracting the brightest and the best from around the world. They want the Home Office to think again before that becomes impossible. Matthew Hudson, ITV News, Cambridge.
Well, joining us now is immigration lawyer Chien Chua. Firstly, tell us about how these Tier 2 visas work.
So Tier 2 visas are mainly designed for businesses to hire migrant workers from abroad or to retain migrant workers that are already working with them.
What has been your experience of how often this problem is cropping up?
So the problem hiring or retaining migrant workers occur on a regular basis. You would have the Home Office either not issuing enough certificate of sponsorships to companies or refusing sort of entry clearance visa applications due to the applicant's personal circumstances or the businesses.
How difficult is it for educated doctors and scientists from overseas to work in this country?
So the way the sponsorship system works is that if someone is more experienced and better paid, it would be easier for them to score the sufficient points to qualify for a visa. Therefore, it tends to be more difficult for professions such as nurses, where the pay is possibly not that high, and they're coming over to fill rather junior positions, but still needed to help sort of hospitals and companies to run smoothly.
Chien Chua, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Well, next this evening, you might have seen the health campaigns telling you how to spot someone suffering